All right, welcome in. It is Wednesday. It is time for Total Bases, and we have 18 games in Major League Baseball today. 3 games rained out yesterday, which means 3 doubleheaders today. Excellent slate of games morning till night. We're going to talk Yankees, Blue Jays. We'll probably touch on Brewers, Mets, the doubleheader. So a lot of good action to talk about. Your one-stop show for all your Major League Baseball free picks right here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. And we're going to get right into it. I'm going to Bryan Leonard. He made a great call yesterday in Yankees Blue Jays, Canada Day. Sorry, Canada. I didn't know that at the beginning of the show yesterday. I know now. Hope you guys had a great Canada Day up there yesterday. The Blue Jays certainly did, Bryan Leonard. They went off. They're playing unreal ball right now, and they come in tonight. Will Warren, Jose Berrios. How do you see this one?
Before we get to that, there was a game yesterday that was suspended, the Boston game. I had Boston as one of my 2 plays. The other was the Cleveland team total under. It's 2-1, suspended after 3 innings. Let us know if in this chat if that was called a suspended game or if you still have action on it today. Be able to take a look at that for future reference. In that regard, mine was suspended. We'll see what happens. And
it will vary book to book.
It will vary book to book. That's correct.
We're just curious if you played Red Sox Reds. We're curious: is your bet pending, or did they cancel it? Did they call it no action? So we'll talk Yankees, Blue Jays. We'll then go to that sort of game and series. But let us know in the chat so we can get the just get a gauge of how many people have action and how many people don't.
Yep.
Yankees, Blue Jays to you.
Yep.
Yankees, Blue Jays.
Warren going against Berrios, 2 hot pitchers. Berrios is surprising me. He's usually a guy I look to fade because of his name, but he's been pitching pretty well this year. Warren's, when he's on, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. Still inconsistent in that regard. The current line on this is the Yankees with Warren about 122. A total of about 9, slightly to the under. Will Warren on the season comes in with a 4.37 ERA, 3.46 expected. So he's had a little bit of bad luck. 1.32 whip. That's been his problem in his career. He's got a 1.45 whip in 2 seasons. His walk rate is 10.1 right now. Strikeout rate 29.6. Still an excellent 19.5 strikeout much walk ratio, but he's still a guy who has control issues. His hard hit rate is in the 9th percentile, average exit velocity 11. So when he does get hit, he has been hit pretty hard, but he's got a great strikeout percentage in the 89th percentile, extension in the 83rd. Throws 6 pitches, and his 4-seam is his primary at 39%. If you take a look at what he has done so far this year with each of his pitches, he's done pretty well. His whip percentage is really good on the sweeper, 35.4%. His sinker, not really, at 13.7. That's the only one where he's not much of a strikeout pitch, and he can't get him off the sinker. But other than that, he's pitched pretty well this season. And as I said earlier, that Berrios is a guy right now who is pitching very well as of late. Comes in with a 3.26 ERA, 4.55 expected. So there's some luck involved in his success. 1.21 whip, very similar to his career numbers. If you look at his StatCast page, Baseball Savant, there's really no red, which kind of surprises me for a guy that's has that ERA. In fact, the last 3 years, he's had really good ERA, 3.26, 3.60, 3.65, pitching in a really good hitting division. And so for him to not have any red is kind of surprising. Barrel rates in the 18th percentile. So he's another guy that can be hit. But in this game, I like the way Toronto's playing. Came back yesterday, and we talked about that on the show, whereas we were looking to fade the starter yesterday, Fried, for the Yankees. It took a while to get there, but he finally got hit later on in the game, and Toronto performs very well. Current line on this, there's seems to be, at least to me, that it's where the line should be. So I probably will not be getting involved in this one.
The way I see this is looking at the sides. Yeah, I mean, yes, Toronto seems to be the hot team right now, but actually they're just batting a little bit better than the Yankees. The Yankees have picked it up a little bit. I got them ranked 15 and I got the Blue Jays ranked 12. Bullpen wise, Yankees have a huge advantage as far as I can see. And I have the starting pitchers pretty equal. So I'm not going to play a side or a total in this, but I did look up the outs props. And there is one that kind of caught my eye on this. Now, I haven't played it officially yet, but Will Warren's outs recorded 17.5 seems quite high to me. What that means is over or under, will he finish 6 innings? Will Warren on the road has a 5+ ERA. He's been horrible on the road. I don't have any sample size against these particular batters, but my projection for his outs is 15.3, so basically just over 5 innings. I don't think he's going to finish 6 innings here. Toronto's hitting it pretty well. It's a hitter's park. I don't think he's going to finish 6 innings here, so under the 17.5 might be a pretty decent play, although I haven't played it yet.
See, I think Warren's going to pitch pretty good here. He is. I'm coming around on this guy. He's someone that maybe wasn't quite ready in April when he was like in the starting rotation right off the bat. But he's always sort of projected as someone I thought would find success at the big league level at some point. Last couple months, I mean, with the exception of that start against the Dodgers, he's been fantastic. Last time out, navigated a couple of walks, but really very minimal traffic on the bases against the A's. 5 innings, gave up 2 hits. Did walk 4 guys, but 7 strikeouts. Pitched into the 7th against the Orioles. 6 innings, 11 strikeouts against the Angels. 5 2/3 scoreless ball against the Royals. So there's a lot to like. He's got a very, in my opinion, he spots his fastball well. That's kind of what I've noticed about him. I feel like he throws to the corner. So you go back to the A's start. Yeah, he walked a couple of guys, but he wasn't missing out over the plate. He really wasn't giving them a great chance to do big-time damage. Now, the Blue Jays, do I want to bet against this team right now? Not really, because I like this team. I feel like I've been sort of driving the Blue Jays bus a little bit over the last couple weeks. I've bet them a few times, so I don't really want to go against them, but I wouldn't put anyone off of going against them here if you like if you also like the Yankees in this spot. Jays have used a lot of bullpen the past couple days. And, Barrios, I've talked about really being like a veteran guy that makes big pitches. He's a guy that's going to battle. But can the Yankees get to him? Of course, at least in my opinion. So -125 felt, I don't like a tad cheap here. Maybe a little bit of a discount on the Yanks, especially with the bullpen usage from the Blue Jays. Lean Yankees, not sure I'm going to bet it. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I don't know if Brandon, you misspoke. You say the Warren was 17.5 on his.
Yes.
Okay, so if it's 17.5, he doesn't have to go 6. He's got to go 5 2/3. Is that correct?
No,
he'd have to go 6 to
get over 17.5. He has to finish 6 innings.
Yeah, if you go,
because you need 18 outs, so 18.
But
outs.
if he goes 5 2/3,
then it's only 16.
That's 17.
17.
17, and the over-under is 17.5.
Yeah, I misheard that. Also in the chat, it looks like a 50-50 split, and somebody made a good comment. The sharper books are the ones that canceled. The less sharp books, the public books, are the ones that let it go on. So I'll keep that in mind in the future. If there is rain delays and you've got the better team, chances are you're probably better off playing at if you could still bet at like a DraftKings or a FanDuel or something like that.
So, Brian, let me ask you this. Like, do you have, as someone that has action in that game one, we actually have 18.5 games today. I forgot about Red Sox Reds still going on. As someone that has action in game one, if is there a way to get back in if you have a canceled ticket, like based on the score right now? And then let's just talk about game two. If you see anything there, Nick Martinez, Brian Bayo.
I haven't seen anything. Mine was canceled, and I haven't seen anything about getting back into it or not. Boston does have the lead, so you'd have to be paying. It was basically a pick 'em yesterday.
Sure.
So you'd have to pay more for that. They've already said, obviously they're not bringing those guys back again. I believe Bayo is picking up for Boston in that game. And at this point, they don't know who they're going to use in the second game, the normally scheduled game here. So we'll have to see on that one. So what game would you like to talk about now?
Well, I mean, I guess that's a really good point. If they're going to use Bayo in game one, then we'll have to see. I mean, there's really not much sense in talking Red Sox because you really kind of need to see what's going on there. So let's move on to the chat. And I guess this is one I do like. I want to talk about this doubleheader. We'll mostly probably focus on game two. So game one is the same matchup as yesterday. We broke down game one, Brewers Mets. I'm very curious to see what kind of goes on through this doubleheader. I have a little bit of a plan myself. So I'll go back to you, Bryan Leonard. Anything in this doubleheader for you that's like different from yesterday? And are you looking at game two at all? I believe it's Mizorowski and then maybe a Tidwell for the Mets.
Yeah, we obviously don't know who the relievers, what they do in the first game, which is why I never make any full judgments on the second game until the first game is over. The Holmes Peralta, still lean with Peralta here. Holmes has been a little bit shaky as he goes on a little bit, and we all know how the Mets are playing right now. In the second game, I lean with Mizorowski. Tidwell is one of the better prospects for the Mets. He did get a little relief action the other day, did not pitch well. You can understand that. But he's highly touted also. So we got two of the better young pitchers in this game, in this second game. But I don't know how you can go against Mizorowski right now the way he's pitching. He's obviously in the minors. He had control problems. He has not hit any in the majors. It's going to happen. It's somewhat similar to what we had with Burns the other day with Cincinnati. Any game that those guys pitch, they are. If there's a chance to for the other team to find some flaws like they did with Burns, and that has come out now that yes, they do know that he was tipping his pitches, but you could tell when you watch that game. So slight lean for Milwaukee on both sides, probably won't get involved.
Before I do the analysis, look down at the scroller there to our websites on WagerTalk.com. We always have something available. I have 2 plays out for Major League Baseball today. Also, one comment. Management reached out to all 3 of us yesterday and told us that our video got great response from the crowd. So I just want to thank you guys for being interactive with us and being active in the chat. Management did reach out to us and congratulate us yesterday. So that was a good thing. It's a good thing for our show. So appreciate you. We didn't do it. You guys did it. So we appreciate it. Let's get on to this game. I generally don't like to do game 2 of double headers, but I certainly am interested in this one because we have an extremely talented pitcher, although he only has 16 innings of experience this year. But Mizorowski versus Tidwell, I'll take Mizorowski any day. And I have no idea, even in the first game, why the Mets are favored. Doesn't make sense to me. Brewers, I got them ranked hitting 6 in MLB. I got the Mets ranked 21. Bullpen, I got the Brewers ranked 9, and I got the Mets ranked 20. So Brewers have extreme advantages in almost everything I see here. Holmes is a decent pitcher. Peralta is a good pitcher. So that's pretty much the only area where I think they can stand even ground with the Brewers. What scares me a little bit is the Mets are a really good home team. But I said this on yesterday's show. What trumps what? Being extremely cold or being a really good home team? I think being extremely cold gets the upper hand here. I don't know why the Mets are favored. Probably because of their home record and because Holmes is a decent pitcher. But game 2, they don't have a decent pitcher, and the Brewers do have a decent pitcher. So I really like the Brewers in game 2. I don't care who they rest. I don't care who they use in their bullpen. I don't care any of that. The Brewers' advantage is so huge. I am probably going to take a rare game 2 bet here.
Can I just ask a question? The problem with betting Mizorowski is we've been taught when we handicap, you want to buy low, sell high. Well, obviously his buy price right now is higher than it may ever be. He may turn out to be a very good pitcher, but right now you're buying high, and that's my only concern about that.
Mine too.
The odds are minus 130, I think, for game 2 for the Brewers.
Well, here's what I would say. I think if you like Brewers game 2, I think you should bet it now. So this is what I'm hoping happens. I'm going to paint a little picture here. If you want to hear me talk and you want to hear us talk about game 1, deep dive game 1, we did that on yesterday's show. You can always go back to yesterday's show, click the timestamp. We talked about game 1. It's the same matchup. I'm very interested in game 2, and here's what I hope happens. I would love to see the Brewers win a close game in game 1, where they use some bullpen arms and win the game. I think, because here's the other thing. I don't think the masses have really gotten involved with game 2 yet from a betting standpoint. A lot of books haven't even put this up yet. So what I'm hoping is throughout the day that as people realize, because I think this is a true a day-night doubleheader. It's not like a true doubleheader. I think they're going to empty the stadium and then sell game 2 as a separate ticket. New York, they're never leaving $1 on the table. They're not no free baseball there. This is a 1:00 game, clear the stadium, different ticket for the night game. So you're going to have some time where the game 1 is going to be over and you're going to have hours elapsed before game 2 kicks off. I'd love to see the Brewers win a close game in game 1 where they use some bullpen arms. And what I hope happens is that minus 130 on Mizorowski becomes more like minus 150 or minus 160, maybe even brings the plus 1.5 run line in range for me. Tidwell can hold his own. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he's on the same plane as Mizorowski from a talent standpoint, but he certainly can hold his own. The one thing I've noticed with Mizorowski so far, he's been elite since being called up. No question about that. 5 innings, 6 innings, 5 innings. Is he going to go into Citi Field and exceed that from a length standpoint? I don't know. I could see him getting 6. I don't think he's going to go 7. I think a solid 5-6 inning outing from him is what I would expect from him today. Now, if the Brewers use the good bullpen arms in game 1, at worst, I'd be getting the Mets in what could be a very desperate spot. If they lose game 1, the spot becomes very desperate, and I at least get 3 innings where Mizorowski is not in, yet the price is going to be, it's going to be based on him being out there. So I'll be looking at Mets game 2. But I really just want to see it's going to take some stuff to happen in game 1, specifically using up bullpen arms and the price to jump, because I do think as people that the recreational bettors start to see, Mizorowski against Tidwell game 2, pulling up my betting app at 4 p.m. Now I'm going to just bet the Brewers. I do think the line is going to jump, and maybe we can take advantage of that. So I'll be looking at Mets in some fashion in game 2. Markinson, did the parlay hit? It sure did. Bryan Leonard getting us with an under last night. Tokyo Brandon had the Dodgers. I had the Rangers plus 226, which means the parlay now for every dollar that if you played them evenly, every dollar is returned $13.90. I believe we are. I think the high water mark for this was 19 and change. So we're at some point this season we are going to break that 20 unit mark. Who knows? Maybe we take a step in that direction today. Throughout the rest of the show, we will be locking in our show parlay legs. So, feel free to subscribe. Listen, if you've got stuff to do and you got to come back 40 minutes from now to check the parlay out, we're cool with that. But we'd love for you to hang around and watch the rest of the show, because we will be talking about these games the next 40 minutes or so. All right, moving on. Let's go to the chat here and grab a different game, because there's plenty of them today, and there is a lot of requests. The chat is popping off. Titan CT, how many innings is Tidwell going to give you? He's a starter at AAA. I would say Tidwell's not going to. He'll go 5 or 6 unless he's getting killed. I mean, if he's throwing now. That being said, it's a really good question. If the Mets are going to be they'll take him out quicker if he gets into trouble. But if he's throwing a decent game, it's going to be 5 or 6. And that's why game 1 is so important, because if the Mets don't use their bullpen up in game 1, then they're going to be, I would say more inclined to use their good arms in game 2. It's why you have to really kind of watch game 1 before you make a decision on that game. Okay. Colin Gregory, Marlins Twins over the hottest team in Major League Baseball, the Miami Marlins. They could continue to win. It's been fun to watch. They're a team that I've been high on since the beginning of the year. I'm actually kicking myself that I haven't made more money on them on this run. I haven't bet them that often, but it's been fun to watch. And Bryan Leonard, they might be in position to win again today. Jansen Junk's been great. Simeon Woods Richardson for the Twins. How are you seeing Marlins Twins?
Yeah, my first look last night. Every night I look at the schedule before to try to get an idea if there's something I really want to use because I think the line's going to move. My first thought was Jackson Junk was going to be a nice value here. Some money has come in on Miami a little bit, but Simeon Woods Richardson, unfortunately, the luck has run out on him in his career now in 4 seasons, 4.42 ERA, 1.33 whip. That's not going to get it done considering his home park is not a bad pitcher's park, and he's had a lot of opportunities there. The only red on his StatCast page is his extension in the 70th percentile, his barrel rate 6th percentile, ground ball rate 9th. So he gets hit hard and he gives up fly balls. Not something I'm looking to back. His expected ERA is 4.74, very similar to his ERA on the season. Jackson Junk, he's looked better than his numbers show. One thing he's done very well, and we talked about this last time, is he doesn't walk anybody. He's in the 100th percentile in walks, 1.6%. Now, that was a little bit of a surprise because the last 3 years it was 8.3, 6.1, 8.1, all around league average, even a little bit better. But this year, he's really put it together in that regard. The only problem is because he throws the ball in the zone and he's not walking people, he's getting hit hard. His expected batting average is in the 1st percentile. His average exit velocity is in the 1st percentile. And his hard hit rate is in the 1st percentile. So instead of playing Miami in this game, I kind of like the over. These are 2 guys that can get hit. We know that Miami is on a really good hitting streak right now. We've talked about this for the last month. They've done very well here for their young hitters. And Minnesota, they got their oft-injured third baseman back yesterday. He's probably hurt again today, but they're coming around with some of their guys that are getting a little bit healthy in the lineup. I think they'll get to Junk a little bit too. So I'm going to play this one over the total. And that's one of the ones that I'm thinking of for my parlay. I'm not locking it in yet, but that's something I'm looking at. The total right now in that game is 8.5 to the over, maybe minus 118. So I'm looking for that one over, and that's the best game I see right now that we've talked about so far.
Bryan is correct. Junk does not throw balls. Or he doesn't walk people. He does throw balls. He doesn't walk people. 2 walks all season. I project him though at only 12.7 outs recorded. He does not go deep into games at all. Will he start? I don't know, but he's only thrown 79 pitches once. Every other start he's gone under 79 pitches. So but progressively he's getting further and further. So maybe they're trying to stretch him out a little bit or get him used to it. You guys are down on Woods. I'm not so down on him. Actually, I have him ranked a little higher than Junk, but pretty much the same, right around the same level. But Miami's just better at everything else than the Twins. The Twins are very mediocre as far as their bullpen is concerned. They're hitting, I have them ranked 19 in current form, not very good. Miami ranked 6 in hitting, ranked 8 in bullpen. So what Adam and Bryan were teaching me at the beginning when we started doing this show, that the Miami young arms are being coached really well, it's starting to show now because their bullpen's playing quite well. I think Miami would be the only way you could go here. The question is, how deep is Junk going to go? Doesn't really matter though, because he's backed by a pretty good bullpen and the better lineup. So that would probably be the only way to go.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that. Marlins, they've put together kind of a little bit of a pitching staff. They're hitting the ball. I'm with you. I wouldn't play the Twins here. I don't like Woods Richardson at all. I don't know if I want to like jump in now with the Marlins, as I think they've won 8 straight. I definitely lean toward the over. My number falls right on where what's this total, Brian? 8.5, something like that.
8.5. Yeah, 8.5 to the over.
So my number's like kind of right in line with that. But I look at I think the Twins, someone in the chat pointed out, and I just want to confirm this. The Twins have been shut out back-to-back games. Yep, that's correct. 3-0 loss on Sunday night to Detroit. 2-0 loss last night to the Marlins. Twins will probably get something here. Junk is someone that, remember, this was a guy, he was terrible in the Brewers organization, and the Brewers are an organization that tends to do well with pitching as well. The Marlins have definitely fixed him to an extent, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some regression there because he gives up some absolute rockets. He is giving up some serious hard hit. And so, yeah, listen, it's nice that you're not walking, guys. But if you're going to give up 108 off the bat every once in a while, that can turn into a big inning. You get a couple guys on base, string a couple hits together, and suddenly someone gaps one or hits it out. There's your crooked number for the Twins. That being said, this Marlins offense is just rolling right now. And I've talked about these young teams, the snowball effect. There's a reason the Marlins are winning right now. This team could turn around and lose 7 in a row. That's how, when you've got a lot of young guys that don't know better, it tends to be run of really good, run of really bad. Right now, it's really good for the Marlins. And there's nothing that I've seen to suggest that it's not going to continue to be really good because we don't know the ceiling for a lot of these guys in this Marlins lineup. And so I think you either have to ride the Marlins or pass. And I lean with Bryan Leonard. I think there's probably runs in this game. All right, let's move along. We're cruising. I feel like we're making good time today. It's only 9:26. We've got a full half hour left and change. A bunch of games. So let me go grab one from the chat here.
A lot of people saying they wanted to see Guardians.
I'm going to go to this one first. We'll get to them. Ethan says +1.5 with the White Sox is appetizing today, and I have a feeling Adam agrees. Well, I have to be honest. It wasn't on my sort of an initial first pass through. That being said, I don't think there is. There's definitely value there, and the reason Bryan Leonard is because I don't buy Clayton Kershaw being a favorite of this magnitude at this point against pretty much anyone. I think you're still paying for the name, and then of course you're paying for Dodgers at home. Not sure I'm going to do it, but I can't disagree with Ethan that the White Sox might be some value here. How are you seeing White Sox Dodgers?
I agree. Brandon Eisert, his numbers aren't overly dominating. 4.33 ERA, 1.33 WHIP. His expected ERA comes in at 3.31. So he's pitching with a little bit of bad luck. He's not a big strikeout guy. His fastball velocity is in the 3rd percentile, but he does get good strikeouts. I misspoke there. He does get good strikeouts. In fact, you look at his numbers, and I mentioned in the past I play fantasy baseball. This is a guy who's showing up under, the whiffs. He's always a chase leader, a whiff leader, strikeout leader when he pitches. He just hasn't pitched a lot. He's coming out of the bullpen mostly, and he will do that. He won't go long in this game. But when he's in the game, yes, they're going to be very competitive. He's a lefty, and the Dodgers haven't seen him, obviously. And so it's a situation where I'm in agreement with you. I'm really surprised that Kershaw is doing as well as he has done, considering he really has no fastball any longer. So I looked at that and I said, if I could play Chicago White Sox in maybe the first half, that would be something I would take a look at. So let's take a quick look at the line in that one. The current line for the full game is the Dodgers about 320, total of 9. Let's see what we're looking at here for the first half.
Brian, I think it's going to be Sean Burke that comes in behind Eisert. So that's what I think they're doing today.
Okay, and he's pitched a little bit better as of late, if I remember correctly. It's looking at 265 for the Dodgers in the first 5. The thing is, when you get a team as good as the Dodgers, the Yankees, the better teams in baseball, the longer the game goes, the more chances they're going to win. In the short term, first inning, first 5, you'll find a lot of the lesser teams have leads in that regard. And so those are the better times. And the line is telling you that. It went from 320 to 260, 265 for Kershaw. But if I could get Chicago plus, you can get up to 230 right now. It plus no money in the first half. And if you take a look at the spread in the first half of this game, we're looking at Chicago plus in the first half plus a half at plus upwards of 145. That's a pretty good bet. Chicago first half plus 145 plus a half a run. I'm interested in that. I think there's ways to play Chicago. I wouldn't want to play the Dodgers here. We just had an easy early game. Or at least last night they scored early, took a lead, and sat on it the rest of the game. I don't think they're excited to play the White Sox, and Eisert's a guy I like. So I like the first half of that game also. So let's go with the White Sox plus a half in the first half and see how that works out. I think that's a pretty good bet.
Is that your parlay leg?
Still thinking about it.
Okay. I'm going to push back. I'm going to be the devil's advocate here because I think Clayton Kershaw is having a pretty good season, actually. He's gone 23 innings. He's only given up 4 earned, 6 inning, 5 inning, 7 inning, 5 inning. He's given up 1, 2, 0, 1. I think he's pitching pretty good, actually. But yes, he is an old dog, and old dogs lose their juice as the season progresses. Totally agree with that. But Clayton Kershaw, his whole career has been a good regular season guy who just absolutely barfs on the mound when the playoffs start. He's been like that his whole career, right? But yes, he's older now, but he's not starting as many games as he was when he was in his prime. So I don't understand all the Kershaw hate, actually. I think he's still pitching pretty good, in my opinion. He started out a little rough, but I think he's coming around. These old veterans, they find a way, I've said this before, it's like the Maddox rule, as you get older, you outsmart the batters instead of overpowering them. It's just how you do when you get older, right? I think he's cerebral enough to be able to do that. And the White Sox are just a bad team, but White Sox bullpen is playing better than the Dodgers bullpen currently. And I have Sean Burke, if he's going to shoulder most of the load in this game, as the better pitcher than Kershaw, but it's negligible. The lineups are no comparison. So the question is, we probably will see a lot of this Dodger bullpen. So a little dicey, but I kind of like Kershaw, actually.
But let me cut in real quick here since you're talking about
not Kershaw. At minus 300 though.
Yeah. He does have a 3.03 ERA, but his expected is 3.90. His problem is he was always very good in walks, and now he's at 8.3 this season, which is basically league average. His strikeout rate was always in the 20s and 30s. This year it's only 18.6. So you got him at 10.3 strikeout minus walk. And on his chart, he's in the first percentile hard hit rate, first percentile in average exit velocity, third percentile in fastball velocity. He can get hit. So he's surprised me how well he's pitching. But there's no red on his StatCast page, which tells me that he's doing it with guile, but he's not doing it with the actual ability that he's had in the past, obviously. And $3 is an awful high price to have to pay. $3.60 in some cases on the Dodgers here.
It's a ridiculous price. I agree.
That is the problem with the Dodgers and Kershaw in this game. And some of these older veteran guys, you're almost always going to pay for the name, and you're especially going to pay for the name when they're running good. So a Verlander, even though they don't have it like they used to, they will run good at times. And when guys like that, like a Scherzer, a Verlander, a Kershaw, start to really run good, you're going to pay for it. And that's what you're being asked to do here. It's a very appealing setup for the White Sox. So as far as listen, Eisert's in there to open because the White Sox like the matchup with him against Ohtani and Freeman. So my guess is the goal is to get Eisert's going to go from Ohtani to Freeman. That's probably the plan. So that might be an inning. It might be an inning and a third. It'll then be Sean Burke. And then I think it's going to be Grant Taylor, who is someone that Brian Leonard talked about because he hasn't pitched since Saturday, where he threw 2 innings. He's been awesome. So he's one of these younger bullpen arms that are under the radar. Bryan Leonard talked about him before he was called up. Since his call up on June 10th, a 0.80 whip in the majors. That's a pretty appealing pitching setup for the White Sox there. Icer against the good lefties in the Dodgers lineup. Sean Burke, Prey gives you 3 or 4 innings, doesn't get blown up. Taylor probably for 2. He might go in and shut them down for 2 innings. They've never seen him before, and he's pretty nasty. All of a sudden, you're in the 7th or 8th inning with a big price money line potentially in position to win. So, yeah, I like that White Sox money. I like that White Sox money line from a value perspective. I think from a numbers perspective, that's a very good bet. Will it hit? Not sure, but hey, it's one of the better like plus 250, plus 280 money line bets you can make, in my opinion. Go ahead, Bryan.
Yeah, the White Sox against lefties since the beginning of June are at 102 WRC plus, which is better than league average. So they've hit lefties pretty well.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm glad I wasn't thinking about, I didn't know if we would talk about that one today. And I guess I like the White Sox more than I expected when I sort of did my first run through this. So interesting combo right there. We'll continue on.
Adam
here.
likes the White Sox. Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
good money on the White Sox this year. You can't argue at all.
Yeah,
true.
All right, we got a day game here. I see a couple. We'll go to Steve Duke, and there's a couple others in the chat that have brought this one up. Rays A's. I believe this is one of the first ones, the early games this afternoon. Rays A's. We've got my quick notes earlier today, Bryan Leonard. I said, wow, we've got used up bullpens on both sides. I didn't go much past that, but that was one of the things that stood out to me, was that both teams have kind of used their pen up the last couple days. It looks like it's going to be Pepio and what do we have? Spence for the A's.
Yep.
Early game out at Steinbrenner Field. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, I'm not getting too involved in this one because the weather does have an effect here. The wind's blowing out to the left field at 10 miles an hour, which is pretty good. Problem is, right field is where the short porch is at Steinbrenner Field. There's a lot of rain here. Starting at 10 a.m., 54%. The time the game's supposed to go off, 63, 78. This is a very good chance of being one of those games that's either rained out or delayed, which means when you take a look at the starters, if you're looking to bet Pepio here, who is, although I like Spence overall, I think he's better than what his numbers show. Pepio may only go 3 innings here, and they may have a delay of some sort. So I cannot lay Tampa Bay at this number. They're currently at about 210. If I was to play this at all, it would be the Athletics, and the A's hitting very well, playing pretty well right now. They're playing much better on the road than they do at home. We've seen that all season long, even from a hitting perspective. I don't know why they don't hit in their own ballpark. Severino's come out and just hates this ballpark, and I think that if they hadn't given him so much money, he would be on the trading block. But I don't know anybody who's willing to pay that kind of price for Severino, so they may be stuck with him. But in this one right here, because of the rain and everything, lean with the Athletics, and but we don't know what's going to happen, if it's going to be able to get fully played or not.
I don't really know how to approach this one because the Rays hit really well, but their bullpen's performing poorly, which generally makes me lean to an over. But then you look at the A's, who are not really hitting very well and have a pretty good bullpen, at least in current form. I got both of these pitchers. Spence, I got him ranked 9 on a curve of 30, where I have Pepio ranked 11 on a curve of 30. So both pitchers, I mean, my first inclination would be to lean to an over, but at further look, I probably wouldn't play that. Rays are a little bit better team, but it's just not enough for me to play a side. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. I'm kind of gridlocked on this one.
I agree with Chad. He says born and raised in South Florida. It's not going to rain for more than 15 minutes. Yeah, like my family's got a place in Hollandale Beach. It is like the worst rain for like 15, 20 minutes, and then it's 90 degrees and sunny out again. I always forget that we even have to deal with it with Rays games. Still not used to them playing outdoor. Another comment from the chat from Chad that I kind of agree with, that the ball does kind of fly out of there during the day. At least, that might be a little bit anecdotal for me. I don't have like exact numbers in front of me, but there's been a couple day games at Steinbrenner Field this year where I just felt like pop-ups were ending in the fifth row of right field seats, right? Like it was like literal just balls that like I thought you had an outfielder camped under, and they left the ballpark. So that's an interesting point to bring up. I'll go back to the fact that I think both bullpens have some usage. That 9 over at a discount minus 105, I think is a reasonable look here because I don't see how there's not scoring 1-9 in this game. Like I don't see any spot in this game in any inning where the other team is just like a guarantee to lock down their opponent. And with the 9 flat, you get to 4-4, and at least you're kind of free rolling. So yeah, I lean over there. G Hurt, yeah. I remember that one well because I lost in this game. The Hunter Brown game, he pop-ups, and they were 6 rows deep. Yeah, I took a loss on that one when Hunter Brown, I literally thought it was a can of corn, and it was in the 5th row of the outfield. So interesting stuff. That was a day game earlier this season at Steinbrenner Field. All right. Let's go. We are at the final third of the show. We're cruising right along. I'm going to go back in the chat and grab. Yeah, let's go. Tokyo Brandon brought this one up. J. Dot says Guardians plus money. Resident Guardian expert here, Bryan Leonard, hit in this game last night. We're going back to you, Guardians Cubs.
Imanaga, a lefty going against Cleveland, Tanner Bybee. Anytime you got a lefty going against Cleveland, they've struggled. Since beginning of June, Cleveland is at 68 on the WRC plus, just better than San Francisco. The Athletics, which you pointed out about a month ago, Trig, that they would end up struggling versus lefties. They have. And then the New York Mets in dead last is 62. Cleveland is not, it's just not this last month either. Cleveland just cannot hit lefties. They have 2 guys, that Fry and the center fielder, that they brought in to hit lefties. Neither one of them hit lefties this year, so who knows? But yeah, we had that under yesterday in for Cleveland, and that wouldn't be a bad one once again here. But you know, if you're looking at the Cleveland part, we have had Bobby's pitch better as of late. He was playing more to contact earlier in the year. Now that he's getting settled in, he's getting more strikeouts lately. His StatCat page has a lot of red on it. He comes in with a 3.90 ERA, 3.58 expected, 1.18 WHIP. He's been very good. His only drawback really is his chase rate. He can't get people to chase. He's in the 10th percentile in that run. The good thing is, but he's got a lot of pitches to throw. He throws his four seam, excuse me, the most, but it's only 28%. So he's got 6 pitches, and he's using some of his other pitches more lately, and he's having more success in that regard. Taking a look at the Cubs, I got Imanaga out there, and he's a lefty in his second season. Comes in with a 2.54 ERA, but his expected ERA 4.32. His WHIP is 1.03. Last year he only walked 4% of the batters. This year he's up to 7.6, still better than average. But he is a fly ball pitcher. He's only in the 3rd percentile on ground ball rate. Fastball velocity, 10th percentile. So when I take a look at this game, I don't want Cleveland because they can't hit lefties. So I'm either playing Cleveland team total under. Both bullpens will be available here, and they're all should be in pretty good shape here. Cleveland, since they haven't been winning, they haven't been using their best pitchers in the back of the bullpen. They're to the point now, right now, that they need to get those guys in the game. They need to get them in, even if they're not winning the game. So in the second half of the game, I think Cleveland's bullpen is going to be a big help to holding down Chicago. So therefore, instead of just playing Cleveland under, I'm looking to play the whole game under. It opened 7.5 to the over. It was bet up to 8 to the over. Right now we're looking at 8 over 15. I would play the under there. I would play the under 8. It may be minus 105. I think that's a pretty good bet because Bobby is pitching better than he has. He did have one bad outing lately, but overall, I've watched all of his starts and he's pitching much better. And Imanaga being a lefty that Cleveland doesn't see very often, being in the National League, obviously, they're going to struggle with him. So give me that game under. Will not be my my best bet on the show, but it's something I'm taking a look at.
Guys, I went 4-1 in MLB yesterday, up 86 units on the year. I have an MLB feature play. You can get it at the scroll thing down there, Bryan's page down there, Adam's page down there. We are wonderful baseball cappers, so give us some love and check out our page. Also, please go to the replay and leave a comment and like it. We would extremely appreciate your generosity in giving us those 5 seconds of your time. About this game, I'm going to make this my parlay leg. I like the Cubs on the money line. Cleveland, I have them ranked 29 out of 30 in hitting. They can't hit lefties, Bryan says. They can't hit anything right now, including lefties. Imanaga is kind of the X factor, but I don't think he's much of an X factor because I've seen him in Japan. He did miss some time in Japan as well, and every time he came back, he was just fine. He's one of those guys. He's just so durable. He's just so reliable. He never was flashy. He never was one of those guys like Darvish who just overpowers people and strikes out 13 guys, but he holds things down really well. Mr. Reliable. I like him. I have him ranked slightly higher than BB here, or Bybee. Bybee does walk fewer people. His walk ratio is a little bit better than Imanaga's, but I have Imanaga ranked slightly higher. I have them both ranked pretty close to each other, though, in the top 1/3 of starting pitchers. I updated my numbers today, and the Guardians are the only team in Major League Baseball who rank 25th or worse in batting and bullpen at the same time in all of Major League Baseball right now, according to my rankings. These are not, these are my rankings. But yeah, give me the Cubs all day here. I think Imanaga can hold it down for at least going into the 6th inning. I have him at 16.6 outs recorded, which means he should go into the 6th inning, maybe 1 or 2 outs in the 6th inning. Looks good to me. Cubs bullpen is holding things down. I have them ranked 12, so I don't see any reason why the Cubs can't win this game. I don't know what the odds are for that, though, Bryan. What do you have for fair odds on the Cubs?
-155.
Yep,
Oh,
that's what
ouch.
I have as well.
For a parlay, that's cool.
That's what I have as well. I'm in agreement. When you have to put the Dodgers at 1. I feel like if you're power rating National League teams, you have to put the Dodgers at 1 right now. It is what it is. That being said, when you look at the whole league, like, I think Cubs would be my number 2 team from a power rating standpoint. And I do think that they kind of get maybe lost in the shuffle a little bit, especially because up until 2 weeks ago, you still had the Mets up. You've had to downgrade the Mets after the last couple weeks. I still think the Cubs fly under the radar just a little bit with just how good this team is. -155, very fair in my opinion for the Cubs at home. I don't like this Guardians team one bit. Think they're a bad baseball team. They don't hit. They don't have the pitching they did last year. So TB, I have nothing else to add. I think that's a very good call. And I
just have one thing to add when you're done.
Ahead.
So,
no, I have nothing else. Cubs are
just one thing to
ahead.
add as we're trashing the Guardians. Sorry, Bryan. That's all I have.
No.
Brian's the first one to trash.
We've been very lucky the last few years.
I know
Bryan
you're a fan.
He came into the season saying that their bullpen was shot, and he's been 100% right about that. So
yeah,
they
are. And actually, they came into the season ranked like top 3 bullpen, right? So that's pretty surprising. They're playing so bad.
The bullpen is so it's every year it's different. It all depends. Like, for one of the reasons why their bullpen numbers are bad is because they're not taking leads late into the game, so they can't use their best bullpen arms.
Sure.
Because they can't hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it going. I want to go to this game because our friend Kaz in the chat has asked about it. I may actually have a parlay leg here, and it's another early game, and I know you guys want to talk some of the games that are going to start in a couple hours. So Cardinals, Pirates, don't look now. The other team that's starting to play good ball is the Pittsburgh Pirates, Bryan Leonard. I don't know if it's going to take a while for them to get back into any sort of, get back in the mix, but hey, they've played much better, and they've got some really good pitching. So who knows? Pirates, Cardinals, how are you seeing this one?
Yeah, I mentioned about a week or two ago how they were 15-15, I believe, since the coaching change, a manager change. They've got to be better than that now. Yeah, they're playing really good ball. If you are a guy who refuses to pay underdogs, you're losing out on a lot of money with Miami and Pittsburgh lately. Sonny Gray going for St. Louis. He is the best non-Skeens pitcher for either one of these teams. He's been very good. Line's about 120. Total is about 8 to the under 20 or 7 to the over 20, whichever you prefer. But Sonny Gray's got a lot of red on his StatCast page. Comes in with a 3.36 ERA, 3.61 expected, 1.09 WHIP. His fastball velocity is only in the 16th percentile, but he's got 7 pitches he throws, and his slider is only 1% of the time, but his changeup 8%. So he's got anywhere from 8% to 21% on any pitch out of 6 pitches. So I love that. I love a veteran pitcher, especially against a young team like Pittsburgh, that if you watch Pittsburgh bat against guys with breaking pitches, they look really bad sometimes. And that's the situation we'll be in today. Mitch Keller, innings eater, comes in with a 3.90 ERA, 3.95 expected, 1.22 WHIP. Pretty decent, but he's not getting people to swing and miss. His whiff rate is in the 12%, expected batting average in the 18th percent, strikeout percent 24th. So his strikeout to walk ratio is only 12.5, a little less than what we would like. But still, Pittsburgh's playing very well right now. I think because of the way Pittsburgh's playing right now, I'm finding a little bit of value here on St. Louis. We've got the ace of the St. Louis staff against a young team, a young hitting team. I would prefer Gray in this game over Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh has always been the team for me when growing up as a little kid in Cleveland. I needed to pick a National League team. Pittsburgh's close to Cleveland. I've always rooted for the Pirates. But I think the line favors St. Louis a little bit in this game.
Yeah, looking at these two teams, I have them almost deadlocked. Every point I make, there's a counterpoint for the other team. I see a little bit of a discrepancy between Sonny Gray and Mitch Keller. Like Bryan said, Mitch Keller, innings eater. Sonny Gray is just solid as heck. His road stats, not as good as his home stats, but it's not that much of a worry. Historically, he's pretty good against these batters, and he's 8-2. Can't argue with that. I agree. We've talked before that wins don't really mean a lot, but when you're 8-2, you're a pretty good pitcher. I mean, you can't become 8-2 without being good. And to prove the point that wins don't matter, Mitch Keller's 2-10, and he's not a 2-10 pitcher. It just shows that win-loss record really doesn't matter when you're grading a starting pitcher, unless he's 8-2. Then you can say, wow, I mean, he earned those 8 wins, But yes, you can be a terrible pitcher and have the Dodgers line up behind you and be 8-2. It's very true. So, how do I break this down? Batting wise, unbelievably, the Pirates are batting like number 2 in Major League Baseball in current form, where the Cardinals are pretty toiling in mediocrity, but both bullpens extremely solid. And Sonny Gray is extremely solid. I mean, I think the only way you could go in this is an under, because both bullpens are so good right now. And yes, the Pirates hitting is a little bit scary, but do we really think the Pirates are the second best offense in MLB? I don't think so. Current form they are, but I think Sonny Gray can stop them a little bit. So under would be the only way I would go here.
By the way, wins losses, Skeens is 4-7 on the season. You tell me he's not
Exactly.
Any good?
Exactly. It doesn't mean and Keller is 2-10. He's not that bad.
So I was sort of ready to make a case for the Pirates and look toward the +1.5. This Pirates just took a considerable amount of money, at least since I sort of jotted lines down before the show. So Bryan pointed out the value on the Cardinals. He's right, because that was like, I think the Pirates, someone bet the Pirates to knock that down, at least from what it was earlier. They've been playing really good ball. I don't want to go against them. I have no interest in the Pirates at this price, and there's no value in the +1.5. So I'm going to give out my parlay leg here in a different game, and then we can kind of talk about this game. But I'm not going to go into it crazy because it's going to be the Detroit Tigers in game 1 of the doubleheader. We broke this game down yesterday. I talked about liking the Tigers yesterday in that matchup. Now it looks like the Tigers are going to go with like the Holton opener type bullpen game. And I'm pretty much fine with whatever they're going to do because they've got all of their bullpen. They can use just about AJ Hinch will do pretty much whatever he wants to do to win the game in game 1 because he knows he's got Flaherty in game 2. He knows that he's probably going to let Flaherty go 6 in game 2. So I think you see Hinch really mix and match if he needs to. Bryan Leonard, he might not need to because I wouldn't be surprised if the Tigers, put a crooked number on Trevor Williams at some point. So Tigers money line game 1 is my parlay leg, and I'll throw it to you guys. Anything in this doubleheader in either game 1 or game 2?
Reese Olson is back. He may be following. They haven't announced anything that I've seen.
Yep.
We've got Tigers fans in the chat. Maybe they've seen something, but he's going to be available, and I really like him. He's a great pitcher. So let me give you the current number on that. This would be Detroit in the first game of the doubleheader. Holton against Williams. Basically -150 across the board.
Yeah, I love that. And Olson, so here's the thing. It probably will be Olson. Olson's pitched for a while at Toledo, and they used Kaiser Montero made the start for the Mud Hens last night. So it's not going to be Montero. If it's Olson's turn to pitch at Toledo, it's probably going to be Olson in a bulk role. So that's actually very appealing. Holton, Olson, better bullpen arms. Under those circumstances, I think the Tigers should be closer to a $2 favorite in that first game. So -150 sounds great. We'll go Tigers game 1 as the parlay leg.
I don't really have an opinion on this game, so
that's all right. I want to go to Bryan Leonard because we've only got about 4 minutes left, and he needs to close out this parlay. So, do you know what you want to put in this for the parlay?
I do know. I'm going to do slightly different on one of the games that I said I liked earlier. I'm going to take a look at that Miami game where I originally said the over 8. I'm going to play the first half over 4.5 at -125. I looked at the bullpens for both the teams, and they both have, especially the Twins, have a very good bullpen. They're all available tonight, so I don't want to get where they got 5 or 6 runs in the first 5 innings, and then all of a sudden the bullpens come in. So let me play the over 4.5 in the first 5 at -125. So we're eating some chalk again today. It worked out for us yesterday. We got that parlay win. Let's see if we can get another one today.
I'll go back to you, Tokyo Brandon, as I calculate the parlay. Tigers Nationals game 2 of that doubleheader is a pretty well-known pitching matchup. So it's like not much guesswork. It's going to be Jack Flaherty against Mackenzie Gore. Anything you'd look at to potentially get involved Tigers Nationals game 2?
So I'm not sure if I'll get involved yet, but I have Gore ranked quite a bit higher than Flaherty. But I have the Tigers bullpen ranked way higher than Washington. And I have both lineups ranked number 6 in current form. So good hitting, one bad bullpen. Gore, where do I have him ranked? I think I have him ranked like 7 out of all the pitchers right now. Let me find where I have that. Gore. Yeah, I have Gore ranked number 9 out of all the major league pitchers right now, or starters. So he's on fire. Flaherty, I don't like Flaherty just because, now I'm not saying he's a bad pitcher, but every time I back him, I lose. Every time I go against him, I lose. So I probably won't take he's one, when you sports bet thousands of bets a year, you get these guys that you just hate to bet their games, and Flaherty's my guy. So what do you think?
Let me ask you guys both the question, because you made a really good point. Flaherty, and especially depending on how the first game goes, he might be asked to go out there and give 6, and Hinch might leave him out there even if he doesn't have his best stuff. Is there any, does that lead you to get involved in any way in any market? We'll go to Bryan first.
Yeah, Flaherty on the road. Home road dichotomy is major. It's been that way for a few years now. He's very good pitching in Detroit, which is a good pitcher's ballpark. Washington's more of a good hitter's ballpark. So I'm looking to go against Flaherty a little bit. And Gore being a lefty, and as much as I like Gore, Detroit is the number one team in the last month with a WRC plus of 140 hitting against lefties. So they've been raking against lefties as of late. So I kind of like the over. You can get an 8 over minus 115. That's pretty much around there. So obviously you have to take a look at. So I'm in no hurry to play it. You got to take a look at who's available. But if they use some key bullpen arms, that 8's not going to stay. So if it gets late in that game and they're starting to use their best bullpen arms, you can bet the over in the second game and get a little bit of value because I'm sure it'll go up.
Yeah, and that's
a lot
one
of it depends on how game one goes.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah.
Well, and I was just going to point out it looks like that's another day-night doubleheader. So they're going to play the game, clear out the ballpark, and then bring them back in. So you're going to have time, probably a couple hours between games, to kind of decide if you want to do that or not.
One spot where you can take advantage of the Washington Nationals is the books don't like them, but they hit really well. They got a lot of young guys who can swat the ball really good. They got base stealers. This team can produce runs, and the books don't like them. So you can take advantage. If you ever see a Washington team total 3.5, you can take advantage of that on the over.
Kaz, no energy drinks for me anymore. I gave them up. This is a low-calorie sweet tea right here that I'm drinking with very minimal caffeine. So it's my version. It's like my version of the smoking patch for a caffeine addict, pretty much, because I still got to have something. But no more energy drinks for me. I was doing like 600 milligrams of caffeine a day at one point. I turned 39 today. We're trying to make it another 40 years. So I had to chill out on the caffeine. The caffeine in the coffee is fine. I don't go decaf coffee. I just don't go
want to see sorry, you don't want to see Adam hopped up on caffeine.
No, I just gave up the 200 milligram a pop, like Ghost energy drinks. Had to give those up. So
happy birthday. A good present would be a 3-team parlay for the second day in a row here. Let's hope we can get that for you.
It would be a great present. And it would be a great way to cap off the birthday with another parlay win. We won yesterday. If anyone missed the show, our 3-teamer hit yesterday. And before I sign off, 4th of July special up on everyone's page, 7-day all access. Go check that out. Give us those likes and subscribes. That's what I want for my birthday. Likes and subscribes on this show and on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. So we appreciate
on
that.
The replay.
Comment on the replay. Appreciate that. And the parlay, without further ado, a lot of debt. Like I think we're in action during the day in most of these. I am going with Tigers game 1 on the money line minus 150. We've got Bryan Leonard with Twins Marlins first 5 over 4.5. It's minus 125. And then Tokyo Brandon has the Cubs. So 2 full game money lines, Tigers game 1 money line, Cubs money line. And then Bryan Leonard with a first 5 over 4.5 in the Marlins Twins game. That comes out to plus 393 and hopefully comes out to another winner for us. Programming note, we will be here on Friday, 4th of July. We will have a 4th of July show. So put that in your schedules. If you guys have the day off, we're going to be here for our normal hour. And then, of course, back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern for another Total Basis. Brian, did you have something you wanted to add there?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Jesse Schul for being in the chat. He's been active in the chat today. Another one of the really good handicappers over at WagerTalk. That's the one thing about this show. We've had a lot of the other handicappers pop in. A lot of us just don't have the time to watch other shows. They take the time to watch us because they say they're learning something. And if these guys have been around for as long as Jesse and some others, Andy, they come in and they watch a show, it really helps them and it makes us feel good because we're a team effort. Even though we talk about ourselves a lot on this show, we're a team effort for WagerTalk, and we'd love everybody to have a lot of success on the site.
Yeah, shout out to Jesse. Carmine comes in every once in a while. Andy Lang, who I know is like busy as hell, so the fact that he's like popping in is awesome. Appreciate all of you guys, and over 1,100 live viewers on Twitter, which is fantastic as well. Appreciate you guys, and we will be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. for another Total Basis. Have a great day, everyone.